Welcome back to the deep dive. We spend so much of our time trying to navigate, well, just complexity. Life feels like a constant effort to filter out the noise.
It really does.
We're juggling all these external factors, people, deadlines, promises that might be, empty, while at the same time we're fighting our own internal battle.
Against procrastination, self-doubt, all of it. It's exhausting.
It is. So today we decided to cut through all of that. We've been immersed in this distillation of wisdom from the Knowledge is King platform, and it zeroes in on two incredibly simple yet devastatingly effective truths.
And the mission for this deep dive is really to show that these aren't just clever sayings. They're not just platitudes. They're foundational tools. Well, they work together. One helps you see the world outside clearly, and the other. It forces you to see the world inside just as clearly. If you really adopt these, you gain an immediate advantage.
In decision-making, setting boundaries.
Exactly. And in achieving success by rooting out deception, both from other people and, maybe more importantly, from yourself.
Okay, let's unpack this. These are the two maxims that are the foundation for our conversation today, and I think the sheer simplicity is what makes them so powerful.
It is.
So the first core truth we'll be discussing is, when someone shows you who they truly are, believe them.
And the second, which is the one I think we often overlook, deals entirely with our internal landscape. No matter where you go, there you are.
All right, let's start with the external world. Truth number one, when someone shows you who they truly are, believe them. This gets right at the most common source of disappointment in life.
It does. It's dealing with others who they might present this ideal version of themselves, but their actions just completely contradict their words.
What's fascinating here is that the resistance to this truth it's all psychological. People don't fail to see the truth.
No, they fail to believe it. We are just wired for wishful thinking. We want that person to be the idealized vision we have in our minds, so we rationalize away all the bad behavior.
We focus on the one-off promise instead of the repeated pattern of failure.
Exactly.
We see the red flag, but we decide to paint over it because we want the relationship or the partnership or the job to work out. But the analysis here is just radical realism.
It's recognizing that actions speak infinitely louder than intentions, or apologies, or future promises.
Right. And this is where we have to draw a line between being cynical and just being realistic.
Yes. Realism is just recognizing an observable, persistent pattern of behavior. Cynicism is assuming the worst without any evidence. When someone consistently shows you they are unreliable,
they break promises, they show up late, they don't deliver.
That's not a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah.
That is who they are.
This is so clear in professional settings. You think about the colleague who, consistently gossips or undermines others in meetings.
But they pull you aside and they assure you that they're your ally.
I would never speak ill of you.
Right. But their actions, their pattern, shows that gossip is their primary way of interacting. To believe their promise that they won't talk about you is just. It's ignoring the fundamental truth of their character.
So this principle just simplifies navigating office politics immediately. It's like an instant filter.
It is. If their default behavior is toxic, you have to treat them as a toxic entity no matter what they promise you in private.
And it extends everywhere. I mean, what about the friend who always needs help, always needs money?
Always has a crisis.
Exactly. But when you need support, they're never there.
Yeah.
Their words say, I'm your friend.
But their actions say, I view you as a resource.
And that's where this principle offers you protection. By trusting what you see and what you experience over the comforting lie you might want to believe, you protect your energy, your time.
Your financial security. The source material really emphasizes this need to anchor yourself in reality. It suggests you should never let someone else make you doubt your gut when the evidence is right there in front of you.
The moment you start making endless excuses for someone's character flaws, you've stopped believing them.
You've let wishful thinking take the wheel.
And often we fall into the sunk cost fallacy here, don't we? We've invested so much time in a friendship or a relationship that we just refuse to believe the evidence.
Because accepting the truth means accepting that the time we've already invested is, well, it's lost.
Right.
But that cost, the time, the emotional investment, it's gone no matter what you do. This principle is a defense against throwing good time after bad. If the pattern is there, the person has shown you who they are, believe them the first time.
Not the 15th.
Exactly.
That sets us up perfectly for the transition. So if truth number one is an external shield, demanding clarity from the world around us, then truth number two.
No matter where you go, There you are.
That's the internal mirror. And this addresses the problem that is arguably even harder to solve ourselves.
Yeah, we live in a society that is obsessed with what you could call the geographical cure. We think a fresh start means a clean slate inside.
A new job, new city, new relationship.
New haircut, whatever. We assume these external changes will magically solve these deep-seated habits and structural flaws we carry inside us. But the fact is, the baggage you refuse to unpack, it travels first class right along with you.
That's a heavy point because it forces accountability. The source material is really clear that the internal barriers we face, procrastination, negative self-talk,
The habit of blaming external factors for everything.
none of that disappears when you change your mailing address.
They absolutely do not. I mean, think about someone who struggles with financial discipline. If they move to a more expensive city, they're just going to accumulate debt faster.
Or the person who always procrastinates. They start a new job, they're all excited.
Right, but the moment that initial enthusiasm wears off, they are staring at the exact same deadline dread, the same avoidance strategies. The underlying cause is still there.
Because the internal wiring hasn't changed. That is the real trap of self-deception, isn't it? We trick ourselves into thinking we're making progress just because the scenery is different.
It's the ultimate avoidance mechanism. This saying forces you to ask the hard question. If I am the common denominator in all my failures, what internal flaw am I refusing to face?
If you repeatedly quit jobs, you can blame bad management 10 times.
But at job 11, the only constant is you. This principle is a demand for radical self-awareness. It means acknowledging that your feelings, your reactions, your limitations, they're yours. And they follow you.
So this is the essential first step to any kind of real, lasting personal evolution. You have to know the enemy.
And sometimes the enemy is sitting right across from you in the mirror. And you see this reinforced in the author's other work. You see titles like Self-Discipline, the Foundation of True Freedom. That freedom isn't found by rearranging the furniture on the outside. It's found in the hard work of mastering the self. You can't implement discipline if you haven't first confronted why you're so chaotic in the first place.
So we're talking about changing the internal operating system, not just downloading a new app.
Exactly. If you change cities but keep the same habit of seeking comfort over progress, you're guaranteed to find comfort. And you're guaranteed to stagnate, whether you're in Paris or Peoria.
True growth only starts when you realize you cannot outrun yourself.
Right. The work is internal, it's slow, it's often painful, but it is the only path that leads to genuine success.
So let's bring these two principles together, because that's where the real power is. We have this comprehensive clarity toolkit. Truth 1 is the external filter.
Protecting you from others' lies.
And truth 2 is the internal mirror, protecting you from your own self-deception.
And the combined result is a life lived with integrity. And integrity fundamentally just means being whole. It means your inner world aligns with your outer world. When you combine them, you gain immediate leverage.
Okay, so if you ignore the first truth, you're open to manipulation.
And if you ignore the second truth, you are the manipulator of yourself.
I can see how that works. Let's say I'm prone to procrastination. That's a truth number 2 issue. And I constantly believe my own external excuses for why things don't get done.
Okay.
But if I rigorously apply truth number 1 to myself, if I look at my own actions over my intentions, I have to conclude I am unreliable.
That is the alignment. And if you're honest about your own character flaws, you become so much sharper at spotting those exact flaws in other people.
And I guess the reverse is true. If you're constantly being let down by unreliable people,
A truth number 1 problem.
maybe it's because you haven't yet mastered the discipline to demand better standards for yourself. That's a truth number 2 problem.
The external chaos often just mirrors the internal disorder.
That's a fascinating synthesis. They create a kind of virtuous cycle. Better external clarity fuels better internal honesty.
And better internal honesty allows you to demand higher external standards. It's all connected. The source author often explores these issues of perception and truth. And these two truths are the ultimate litmus tests.
And you can see how they tie into the idea of strength. The author asks, where does real strength lie in lies or in truth?
And the strength is always in the truth, whether that truth is about a manipulative friend or your own self-sabotaging habit.
And it relates to what we see about thoughtful reflection versus quick fixes, the idea of the difference between a fast answer and a good one.
Exactly. A fast answer is the external fix moving away, getting a new partner. A good answer is the hard self-reflection demanded by no matter where you go, there you are.
So these two truths, they just strip away all complexity.
They demand simplicity.
Yeah.
Stop trying to figure out if that person meant to hurt you. Look at their actions. Stop trying to find the perfect external solution. Look at your recurring habits. They're just tools for grounding yourself in reality.
So ultimately, the value proposition here for you, the listener, is freedom.
It is freedom from being eternally disappointed by others and freedom from being trapped by your own internal cycles. And that freedom is achieved through ruthless honesty.
So we've gained a lot of clarity on external protection and internal responsibility. And it's clear that really living by these two principles, well, it's the work of a lifetime.
It is. And as we leave you with a final thought, let's just revisit that idea of truth versus illusion, but in a broader context. If these truths are so essential for individual clarity, what happens when entire groups of people stop applying them? We see these continuous warnings in the author's work about the human preference for comfortable illusion over hard truth.
That history shows us that the masses often prefer to deify error.
Because illusion can feel so much more soothing than reality. And if an entire society starts prioritizing sweet-sounding promises over observable actions, that's a truth number one failure.
And perpetually blames external forces for their own collective internal failures.
A truth number two failure. That society becomes incredibly easy prey for manipulation.
So that raises a critical question for you to consider. If individual self-awareness, the kind fostered by believing the evidence of actions over words, both in others and yourself, is the only true defense against being mastered by comfortable illusions, how diligent are you being in applying these truths in your own life right now?
Think about that.
Take these two simple truths. When someone shows you who they truly are, believe them, and no matter where you go, there you are. And use them as immediate filters for the people, the circumstances, and yes, your own behavior in your life this week. It might just be the shortcut to clarity you've been looking for. Until next time, keep digging deeper.